the look.
Recording on Zoom. Recording
Hold
on my...
hold on.
Shit!
I said hold on like 2 minutes ago.
I thought you just said we're good.
I lied.
Bruh.
Wow.
I'm happy to record on my Zoom because GarageBand just keeps dropping my recorder.
Let me delete that.
You motherfucker. Okay, I'm good now.
Whatever. Nah, we're done. All right.
Don't come at me like that.
We're canceled.
We're done. It's over. Don't you understand? I killed Paul Allen.
Had Paul Allen, or had lunch with Paul Allen in London.
Twice in London, 10 days ago. All right. We recording on Zoom or no? Or on your Zoom?
Yup.
Zoom.
We going.
All right. I'm recording on mine and good. You want to clap or no?
No.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
There's no point.
All right. Welcome to the One Take Podcast, episode 32. We are back. We don't have a guest this week, guys.
What?
What?
What is going on?
Nobody wants to talk American Psycho with us.
I love how, nobody wants to talk American Psycho, but we literally just, on I think last Thursday, we're like, you want to just watch American Psycho? I think I sent the card scene. I was like, we have to do this movie.
Oh God, it has a watermark.
It has a watermark.
It has a watermark.
Even has look at the subtle thickness of it.
All the off-whites.
Yeah, that's what this movie. That's what this movie should be called. The Off-Whites.
Off-Whites.
Honestly, yes, that works on so many levels.
It does.
Exactly.
It is nuance.
So, in case you haven't figured it out, we are doing American Psycho this week. How are we feeling? How are we doing? Let's start with Caitlin.
What?
Ooh.
Oh,
How
wow.
How are we doing? Actually, and let's start with this. You like this book, though. So, like, you agreed immediately.
Yeah. No, and I love this movie. Like, for very, I feel like on genre. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is part of my, like, weird, make you feel bad.
Very on brand
also,
for you.
Yeah, it's on brand. I don't know. I like it. I, like, read it when I was, like, 15 because I love satire. And the only thing I will say is I feel like the ending is slightly more satisfying in the book, but we can get there when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same ending. It's just, I think
it plays different on paper.
It just reads differently. But yeah, I'm doing good. How's everyone else?
Yeah, Jake, tell us about your background, if you will. Not about your Zoom background. I mean, about your life. Give us your
my background is the greatest scene in this movie, as will be the continuing theme now that we do YouTube's.
Actually, give us your testimony.
Jake, every single white dude in America would disagree with you that that's the best scene in the movie. The best scene in the movie is when he's fucking those two girls.
Looking at himself.
Every dude in America wants to recreate that scene.
Kristen, get on all fours.
Oh, no. That's
Don't just sit there, eat it.
Just stare at it, eat it.
Man, I'm doing good today. Shout out to sponsor the pod, HelloFresh, for sending my HelloFresh to Chicago. It was originally packaged in Arlington, Texas, which is 30 minutes away from me. So how FedEx screwed that up is beyond me. But otherwise else, I'm good.
Some family in Chicago is like, score.
Hell yeah.
Food for the week.
I talked to customer service. It's like, hey, so I'm going to need a new box and maybe a refund. And they're like, no, it's still going to be fresh. I was like, this isn't going to come to me till Thursday. I don't want food that's been sitting in a box. It's flown twice.
It's still going to be fresh, but like 4-day-old fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh, man.
Dex, new computer.
Yeah.
Problems.
I mean, I was actually able to restart it in like, I don't know, 30 seconds as opposed to 3 minutes like it took on my old computer. True. So, you know.
Doesn't sound like a jet engine's probably taking off.
Yeah, we're looking up. You know, things are going great. It's not a laptop that I sold from my old job, so like there's no VPN on it or anything like that. That was a rough situation. Yeah, we out here MacBooking it up. Let's go.
Thank you, all of our Patreon subscribers for. No, just kidding. We don't have that many followers, but the ones that do know what's up.
I thought you were like, no, just kidding. We're on OnlyFans.
No, just kidding. Premium Snapchat. Yeah, nothing really going on for me. Kind of started a new role at work, so off at like 5:30. So that was interesting. Had to wake up early this morning. That was also interesting. But
yuck.
Ugh, it's the worst, right? Having to do jobs. I love how Dex put on Twitter today. He's like, "Who came up with work?"
This shit is trash, bro. Like nobody likes this. Nobody is like, you know what I want to do? A fucking job every single day. So
I don't know. I feel like there are like those dudes, and I feel like this ties in really well with American Psycho, who like literally their Instagram accounts are literally just rise and grind. Am I right? Morning hustle. My job is my life. Like, who needs love? See, I am fulfilled by my career.
Those people like having money, but like if money wasn't attached to work, nobody would have ever attached it to that.
No,
like that's just a dumb concept.
They love the notion of the hustle, I think, and like the grind. Like I think they like,
but they don't really. They like people thinking that they like the grind.
No, that's what I mean. It's like they like the notion of the grind. Right. Like I wake up at 4 a.m. to lift weights and then go to the gym.
Their fetish is making sure you know that they are better than you, even though they're just as crappy slobby as you are.
Yeah, but they're real estate agents. Because they're
it's always just like Charles the realtor will pop up on your Facebook. You're like, I've never seen this guy in my life.
Literally, it's always a real estate agent or it's a car salesman. Like those are the two people that rise and grind.
Enterprise training.
I just woke up, had sex with my hot wife, went to the gym all before 5 a.m. and sold a condo, bro. What are you doing?
Which also makes me think you woke up your hot wife at 5 a.m.
Yeah, she was totally into it.
Man, now girl. We're just describing Adam Scott from Step Brothers now.
Haven't had a carb in years. Dane Cook, 20 minutes pay-per-view. Let's go.
Dane Cook.
We have mentioned Dane Cook so many times in this podcast.
I fucking love Dane Cook.
Don't be that person.
Dane Cook. No. Dane Cook back in the day was hilarious, and you know it.
I was in middle school.
There was like a 2-year period where you were listening on your iPod Nano the entire I can't even remember now. The entire album.
Was it one of the Alphonse Sufi?
Yeah, it was like that. And but you were listening to all those albums, and you were listening to like Hit by a Car, and you were listening to Stung by Bees and things like that. You were looking.
Thought Jessica Alba could act.
Oh well. Good Luck Chuck historically. Go look up Good Luck Chuck. Historically, has some of the worst reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it has like a 5%. It's awful.
Employee of the month is superb, though.
She's good at TikTok, though.
She's good at mom TikTok.
Yeah. She's a good TikTok dancer.
Get off of it. It's not Vine.
Gotta tell. Dex has a take that it's better than Vine.
It's so much better than Vine.
I sure hope so.
I sure hope it does.
They were roommates.
They were roommates.
God, they were roommates. Just speaking of the. Thanks. Oh my God, we're just quoting Vine.
Shavakadu.
Let's just keep quoting Vine.
Right.
And call it comedy. We're funny because we know references.
Speaking of Vines, he's now on YouTube. You were talking about the Rise and Grind guys. Go look up Cody Ko on YouTube. Free plug for that.
The
kombucha guy, but also the Rise Morning Routine by Cody Ko, where they go through that guy. His name's Dre Drexler, and they go through his morning routine. It's like every morning I wake up, and it's literally like I do some meditation, and it's like the American Psycho thing where he's like, I use a I use a lemon body scrub, and then
Is
and it's just like it's the
Is that
same thing.
Is that the one where it's like they keep saying that he drinks cum? Because there's one of the morning routine ones that they make fun of. They're like, ew.
You're drinking Camus powder?
That's it.
Oh!
Fucking weirdos.
So yeah, go look up that. Anyway, American Psycho.
Mm-hmm,
We're doing a movie today.
Psycho.
Let me look up American Psycho really quickly. This movie is 20 years old, if you can believe it.
I can. I definitely can.
You definitely can. Well, it's based in like the late 80s or early 90s, correct?
Yeah, it's yuppie culture.
Yeah. So American Psycho came out in 2000. Surprise, surprise, this is rated R.
For what? Puppy stomping?
Ugh.
It got
Good Lord.
It originally got the death kiss. It got the NC-17.
I wonder what they cut out of it.
I don't think they did cut out a lot. Director Mary, I forgot what her last name is.
Herron? Yeah.
Like lobbied fucking hard and eventually got it to go through, but it was like a super limited release.
It's probably just like some genitalia or something like that.
Probably,
like,
I bet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Christian Bale's pubes, NC-17.
I bet.
They're just too hot to handle.
I bet Christian Bale hung dong in this.
There's no way he doesn't.
I'm more than willing to bet he was like fine when they initially approached him. He's like, "Yeah, you want me to do full frontal? Let's go."
Christian Bale is hung as fuck, and he knows he's hung
great.
as fuck.
I look fantastic. Are you kidding me? Sure. Like I don't care. So yeah, this was actually a very quick movie, hour and 41 minutes long, which good. Like I don't know, it should not have been any longer than that. A wealthy New York City investment banking executive, Patrick Bateman, hides his alternate psychotic ego from his coworkers and friends as he delves deeper into his violent, hedonistic fantasies throughout. Jesus Christ!
Sorry.
Whoa, that was deep. That was deep. Director Mary Herron was written based on a novel by Bret Easton Ellis.
Yeah, Bret Easton Ellis.
It was also written by Mary Herron as well. Stars Christian Bale, Justin Theroux, Josh Lucas. A lot of later heavy hitters in this movie, actually.
Yeah.
Justin Theroux, Josh Lucas, Bill Sage is just. Sorry, Matt Ross as Lewis, who he was just he looked unsettling in this movie to me. Bill Sage is David Van Patten, Chloe Sevigny.
Sevigny, right?
Sevigny, yeah. Is it?
Let him butcher the names.
Yeah.
Let him butcher the names.
Reese's Witherspoon.
Witherspoon?
Without her spoon. No, Reese Witherspoon in an early, the queen, the god, in an early role. Matt Ross, as I said, Jared Leto, and just a random 2-minute performance by Willem Dafoe.
Yep.
Okay.
He's kind of good in it though.
He is very good. I mean, he's the most Willem Dafoe's ever been in this movie, just staring crazy. But it was on a $7 million budget. It cumulative world gross of $34 million. So it didn't do very well. But it has since gained, of course, like a cult following. I should mention this has a 7.6 on IMDb. A nice, folks, 69% on Rotten Tomatoes critic score, but an 85% audience score from this movie as well, out of 300,000 user ratings on this movie. Yeah, I don't think critics initially liked it, and I think they've gone back and been like, oh, okay, it was a joke. But they've initially gone back on that. So let's start. We'll go back up, bottom to top. Dex, go ahead. What was your ratings reviews?
So I've struggled with how to do this. I gave it a B+ on Twitter initially after watching it for the first time, but the more that I think about it, the more that I hate the ending of this movie. I feel like the ending is super duper trash. And maybe that's because this is definitely not a 2020 movie. Not in the sense that it's problematic or anything like that, but just the conclusions that you come to are just so obvious to people our age watching this movie for the first time in 2020 that it feels pointless. But in 2000, might have been some revolutionary commentary. I don't know. But like watching this movie for the first time in 2020, you're like, I mean, fucking duh. Like the rich Wall Street guys are crazy. We all have like these violent urges in our mind. We shouldn't act on them. Great. Thanks. Duh. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the ending, but the rest of the movie was fun as fuck. So I'll give it like a soft B at this point. Like, I don't know. It's good. It's not great. B.
B. A B movie starring Jerry Seinfeld. All right.
Thanks, guys. This has been a great podcast. I'm leaving now.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine. We'll end on that joke. We'll end it on this joke. Jake, what did you give it?
This is an A for me. I love this movie. I've loved this movie since I first saw it in college. This is a movie that my tattoo artist and I bonded over. Shout out, Justin. You'll never listen to this. And that's okay. No, I mean, it is a great movie. I will agree with Dex, and I think Caitlin will be there too. The ending is trash. It's not the book ending. Mary Hard, I keep forgetting her last name, has come out and
Mary
said
Hardin Baylor.
There we go. Mary Hard, the University of Mary Hardin Baylor.
National champs, baby.
This film in any way.
National champs, baby.
Man, nobody that was involved tertiary to this film supports it. Whitney Houston refused to have any of her songs part of it. Huey Lewis removed all of his songs from the soundtrack. Nobody wanted a part of this. No, the Mary, what's her last name? It's an H. Heron. Thank you. She did come out and say that she regrets the ending and that she hates that it was left pretty obvious, that as less vague as it is in the book. And that's kind of the biggest fault of this movie, is that the ending is meh. But everything else is great. I mean, I'm sure most of it was intentional comedy, but if it wasn't, the unintentional comedy of this movie is fantastic. Christian Bale basing this entire performance off Tom Cruise is fantastic.
Say what?
Yeah. So when Christian Bale was first approached about this, when he started doing research about how would Patrick Bateman be, he saw some interview of Tom Cruise on Late Night, and he's like, this guy is so enthusiastic on the outside, but if you look into his eyes, he's like completely dead and cold.
Which makes
which makes total sense. And I think at the time, Bale and Cruise like shared an apartment building in New York, so they ran into each other a couple of times. I don't know, like it's a great film. It's a movie that, like, if you know it, you quote it all the time. The memes still exist, even if you don't know the movie. It's great. It's a good. It's not even like a psychological thriller because it's not even there yet. Like, it's a good. I don't know how to define this. It's not a horror movie either. It's just good.
I think back in 2000 it was.
It.
Yeah, I think back in 2000 it was more of a psychological thriller that people were like maybe surprised by the end of it, where they were like, "Oh, whoa, what the hell?" But like, I think now it's more, and I hope this is what they're going for, where people are like, "Oh, this is like a parody."
It's satire.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a satire of I don't know. Go ahead.
It's also the book is part of a movement called transgressive fiction that Chuck Palahniuk was also part of. So Fight Club is also supposed to be part of that genre.
Please school us, academic.
Yeah.
This is like my favorite area. This is like my favorite literary movement. But yeah, transgressivism is a response to yuppie culture and actually the AIDS crisis. So it's essentially that everything you see is consumerism, but also everyone's fucking dying. So it's like this like glossy coat of the Reagan economy, but like underneath it, like the underbelly of American society is just death.
Right.
So that's what Bret Easton Ellis is coping with. Same with like Chuck Palahniuk and like Fight Club, dealing with toxic masculinity and violence.
They talk about a lot of those things in passing conversations between like cocaine and drinks and things like that.
Yes, exactly. So it's it's even more interwoven in the book. Like,
even though dyslexia is contagious.
I don't think that's contagious. How do you know? It's like.
This is what I'm saying, but like, this is not a movie to watch for the first time in 2020 because like all of that just seems so obvious to us now.
Yeah.
Like, just watching it for the first time, you're like, fucking duh. Like,
but yeah, at the time though, this is fucking crazy and revolutionary, and like they're doing shit in transgressive fiction that like no one had done before. Like the unsettling scenes, like literally beating a dog to death, like in front of you,
stabbing a homeless man. Like,
yeah. Ooh. It's to make you be like, fuck, that actually is happening. And like 1980s was also the rise of the serial killer, 1970 to 1980. So it's like that's also part of that obsession.
It's when they started to be able to define it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
So, I mean, overall, I mean, I know you love the book, but overall, what do you think about this? Is this an A for you, or is this a B?
Yeah,
like,
I love
what
this.
is it?
I love this movie. It's an A. Like, I don't know. I think the ending, yeah. So in the book, it's a way more ambiguous ending. The literal ending, if I remember correctly, the ending scene in the book is literally he's staring at an exit and it says, "This is not an exit."
Not an exit, which is also in the film.
Is it in this film?
Yeah,
I don't remember seeing
it's hidden. It's there's a shot of the lawyer, and when he's delivering the monologue, but right next to the lawyer is a bathroom, and above the bathroom door is the sign that says, "This is not an exit."
Oh shit!
But
okay, I didn't.
For being such an important moment, like they hid it in the background.
That's
where
so
if you're
weird
not
to
looking,
me.
or if you didn't know it, it's just like, oh, okay. There's like a little blooper, or not a blooper.
I've seen this movie like
maybe
maybe upwards of 10 times, and I've never noticed that. That's super crazy to me.
Yeah,
is that the same thing with the painting, like where the guy is, this is not a pipe, or this is not an apple?
Like you're talking about, like, is it like the same as like a Magritte painting?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
I think it's more of like you can't get out of this. Like
that was me trying to be smart.
I think is the one thing that Bateman's trying to do the entire movie is get out of this yuppie culture, right? Like to a certain extent, like that's what but he feeds into it all the time. Yeah. And he's trying to escape it. And the whole point is like, there is literally no escape from this. Like, and everything you're doing just feeds into it. Like all the violence is yuppie culture and capitalism, consumerism. They kept a line, and I only caught it like maybe the third time I watched it, and I had already read the book, but one of my favorite lines is when he fucks up with mergers and acquisitions, and he calls it murders and executions. I don't know. They kept a lot of stuff. I like it. I'll give it an A. I like this movie a lot. This one and Fight Club, I think they're like often misunderstood films, and mostly men like it for the wrong reasons. But I think that's part of the reason I like it. I like movies that people like, I think, despite the author's intentions.
Hookers and blow and crunches, bro. Whoa.
They're like, hell yeah, that's the life I want to lead, and murder some bitches.
Dude, you want to do some crunches to Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Nothing pumps me up more.
I just got a poster that's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, chainsaw scene, and I'm going to put it in my apartment. I'm really excited. That's one of my favorite cinematic scenes.
All right.
I'm pumped. I'm like, me too, Patrick.
That's going to be...
Patrick Bateman just likes serial killers. He's just like me.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. He is one.
No, he's not.
Excuse me, ma'am.
In the film, I think it's pretty accepted he's not actually a serial killer, but like...
What? Okay, we're gonna have to dive
into
that. I don't know if this movie's as smart as it thinks that it is at times.
It's not.
I do think that what Heron knew what she was going for with it, and I think Bale bought into it too as well. And I think most of the men in this bought into it as well. I saw a review of it that said it wastes its women, and I don't know if that's true because of just who this is about and what the character study is about. But like, yes, I think you could do more with Chloe Sevigny or Sevigny or whatever her name is, and Reese Witherspoon. I think you could do more with those characters. And they play pivotal roles, but I feel like most of the men bought into what this was.
I think their subordinated role in the film is like part of the point. Right?
You think so?
Yeah, like they're not actual characters. Like they're just props.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people back in 2000 sort of missed the irony of this movie. Like, definitely. I think Roger Ebert hated this movie, if I'm not mistaken. And I could be wrong on that. Somebody correct me. But he, I think they missed the satire in it. Not to say that we're smarter now, but I think after time has passed and we've been poisoned, we've been irony poisoned for so long in the aughts and, the 2010s. I think since then, I think we've all been like, oh yeah, they're joking. Like, it's just it's all one big joke.
It's very easy to watch this movie and get caught up in the obvious, like, oh, of course. Like, this movie is very good at making you feel smart because it makes you feel a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're also in this club, that you also share these moments, but it's very easy to see it on the surface level and feel like you're a part of it or that you're above it and completely miss the commentary. Now,
there's
granted,
two.
This
Yeah, go
doesn't
ahead.
do it as well as, say, the book does. And that's also kind of the downfall of the medium.
Yeah.
But
There's two ways. There's definitely two ways to go about it. You could be like, oh, this was all completely surface level and stupid. Or you can say,
just like Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It reminds me a lot. And I think he actually used a lot of The Great Gatsby. If I'm remembering my Bret Easton Ellis facts, he used The Great Gatsby a lot as like, I'm like obsessed
show
with
up
him
at dinner parties. Guess what?
I was in a creative writing class with this guy named Justin Cronin, who's like a pretty well-known science fiction writer. And we all got to pick like a book for the class to read. And everyone else picked like good books. And I made everyone read literally the worst book Chuck Palahniuk has ever written, which is Invisible Monsters. Oh. And it's horrible and it's gruesome and gross. But so I have a lot of facts about this movement. But like Bret Easton Ellis, I think, is super inspired by like The Great Gatsby, which is like the entire premise of like being super clean and cut on the outside and then having a dirty underbelly. And similarly, I don't think The Great Gatsby's ever been converted to film well.
Right. And I don't think it ever will be. But I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I got to give this a B+. I think Bale did the best that he could. Sometimes it feels more of a collection of scenes than it does of a movie. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, It's like, we'll go from this one set piece to him making jokes to him. There's only a few times where it's interwoven where they go from one scene to the next. And that's usually when he's about to kill somebody or when he's picking up a hooker or something like that. But most of the time it's him like, this is my morning routine, or this is me getting or this is my card, like, although those scenes are great, but it feels more of a snapshot sometimes, and that's fine. But I think at the end of the day, it's a little misunderstood back in the day. I think people have gotten it now, and I think now that warrants it a B+. Is it up there with Christian Bale's best performances? We will see. Deep tease for the end of the pod. So let's get into some notes. If we all have them, open them up. The opening is straight out of the new Hannibal show. Like the opening scene where they're just making food. I love how the guy comes out. He's just like, there's not a good bathroom to do cocaine in.
Which I feel like I've literally heard people say before at bars. I'm like, I know
it's a very New York thing. Like, hey, can do blow in here.
I mean, who amongst us has not yelled at a bartender? Also, what bar is accepting tickets like ever?
That was like a thing, I think, a lot in the 80s.
Was it? Okay. That felt weird to me.
Because Damien's
like how he's like, they're all spreading around cash and how like reservations are important. And I was like, this feels very cheap that he has carnival tickets for drinks.
Damien's Red Hand. Oh, I said Damien's Red Hand, which is a big yuppie bar on Wall Street, which a lot of the bars in this movie, I think, well, in the book, they're based on like Damien's Red Hand, which also is where like the yuppie murders happened, where literally a Patrick Bateman type man murdered his girlfriend in the 80s. Fun fact.
Oh, well.
Unrelated, but
right.
But I think Damien's Red Hand still actually accepts drink tickets. I think like that's still a thing weirdly there. But I might be wrong. Someone fact check me.
I won these at a carnival. Give me a scotch.
I will say drink
You just
tickets are
bring-
still a thing. I work at a bar that accepts drink tickets. They're just not like literal carnival tickets.
Oh.
Like, it just looks cheap, like to be a carnival ticket.
It does
It
seem
really
like it wouldn't be just like a weird raffle ticket.
In this setting, it feels weird, where everything is high end and we're fighting over like reservations of restaurants that are booked up years in advance to have drink tickets. Feels very out of place.
I do love how Patrick Bateman in the very just cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks. Just like
Super
what?
low.
Yeah, he's just like
Super
whatever.
Cool.
What did he call him? He said, "I didn't know you were dating someone from the ACLU."
The precursor to calling people social justice warriors.
Yeah, exactly. Are they at? Not that it matters, but it is kind of interesting to me. Are they always at gay bars or transgender bars in this movie, or was that just because it always?
No, they're just at club. They're at club kid bars.
Club kid bars.
Yeah, that's the height of club kids.
Oh, I had no idea what
It's
club
the
kids
1980s.
is.
So that's just like where all the good bars were. So like they're like, I think one of the bars they're modeling it after is also like the Pyramid Club.
Just
like,
because they look so much like they're all buttoned up and everything, and everybody is just different. I don't know. Maybe that's
so. No, you're not like totally wrong. I mean, like RuPaul came out of the like club kids era and stuff like that. So that's where you would have first seen it. But those were just where the good bars were. I think they were just like the good clubs.
It's where you do cocaine in a bathroom stall.
Yeah,
in a row.
I don't know. I think I just accepted that because I watched Party Monster, with Macaulay Culkin, which is about the club kids. And I was like, there's a lot of Wall Street people at this party.
The narration after the opening scene is kind of an interesting choice. Where they start
day?
Yeah, where it's like they start narrating after they've already established who Patrick Bateman is, or this is a guy. And then the next day is when they start narrating. I don't know what that means. It doesn't have to mean anything, but it's just an interesting choice that they did. Holy crap, he's in an incredible shape.
He's fine.
He had to put on weight.
Oof.
Yeah, because he's normally like a skinny guy to begin. Like what he looks like in Ford versus Ferrari is probably more around what he sits at, more or less. So from him to go, and I said, from him to go to, he went from this to a few years down the road, he did The Machinist, which is the grossest thing I've ever seen. And then from that to Batman, and he was totally not taking steroids, totally not.
He lost 60 pounds for The Machinist, right? Like
something like he had an apple. He had
can
like
of tuna.
Yeah, it's like he had an apple, a can of tuna, like 10 cups of coffee, and like 5 cigarettes a day.
Damn, that's like my college diet.
I was going to say the cigarettes is where you're really filling yourself up.
10, nicotine keeps you full.
10 Adderall just did it.
I'm never hungry. I'm just hype.
That's the whole thing with Christian Bale, man. You don't have to do that.
You really don't. I promise. We'll believe it's
A lot of other people don't do it. Even like with other method actors, don't do that.
Like especially with the Vice thing where he gained all that weight, like was fat, and Inherent Vice. No, it wasn't Inherent Vice. American Hustle, where he gained all that weight. Where it's like you don't. I mean, just wear a fat suit. Like they got good ones.
It reminds me of like Rob McElhenney from Always
got
Sunny.
fat because he wanted to.
Yeah, and they were like, you don't have to, and he's like, and Caitlin Olsen's like genuinely concerned about him.
There's like a fatty liver now for a joke.
Yeah, he has like heart disease.
My favorite thing is in the next season when he got super ripped, like in the best shape I think anybody's been in. He takes off his shirt and he's just like, boom. I'm like, what? He's like, I got super in shape. Like, so what? So, I mean, do I look good now? And it was literally a 2-second joke. They did it all for a 2-second joke. And he's like, do you guys like me? That's incredible. But the morning routine is too much. Too much, man.
It's more in the book.
What?
He goes on for like fucking ever. And like he does it with other people too. Like he like aesthetically tears down other people. Like, because the whole thing is like how obsessively image focused he is.
I don't know if I've ever done that much. I mean, I guess that
No.
says something. It's probably why I got dry skin and bags under my eyes. But
I do that much.
You do that much?
I take 2 hours to get ready if I'm going out.
Why?
Because I like to look cute.
2 hours.
Yeah, and I always smell good, so everyone can suck a dick.
How often has a guy just been like, okay,
well, like I never do it. Like I never keep anyone waiting. I know how long it takes me to get ready, so it's like
you have it timed out to a science.
Yes, I know it takes me literally an hour and 45 minutes, and then 15 minutes to chill and watch like something.
Do you also peel your skin like a reptile?
Yeah.
You're our serial killer.
That scene was shot in one take. Bringing it back to the movie.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
Apparently, like pre-production, they were sweating over it because they didn't have enough mask, and they were worried it was gonna like tear up or disintegrate, and they just did it in one take.
I'm surprised.
It was the whole day of filming that they just blew in one take.
I'm surprised they use an actual like face peel instead of something. I don't know. Like we put Jello on his face and it peeled. I don't.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, not why
But
not?
also,
I
like,
used it.
Y'all have a $7 million budget and couldn't get another face peel. Like,
That seems weird.
y'all couldn't write that in.
Well, it's not like the
Went
amount.
to the
Like
actual
I'm sure
cocaine budget.
I'm sure they had a bunch, but if it wasn't gonna work on one take, it probably wasn't gonna work on multiple takes. If the thing kept disintegrating or it kept tearing.
I would also like to
otherwise
circle.
else you would have to like act it out weird to keep it intact, and it wouldn't have played off on film.
I would like to circle back to Royden's joke that it was the cocaine budget, because I would really like to imagine that everyone was using real cocaine on
Justin Thoreau's like, holy shit. Like, he's just like,
Woo!
If we take it enough, we'll still get high.
we just take enough, we'll still get high. Is that a gram? Let's see. Walking on Sunshine's a funny choice. Just this stupid joke. This is like a really dumb joke. They don't do any work in this movie except for make reservations, which is, I think, part of the joke.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
They're all vice presidents.
They are all
We'll get to
vice
that.
presidents.
We'll get to that. One of my favorite lines in this, and it's a very throwaway line, is when they introduce Reese Witherspoon, and he goes, "She's my supposed fiance." Like he never agreed to it.
I don't think he did, really.
He really doesn't.
I think he's like, I really don't want to fucking do this.
Because when it comes to the breakup scene, she doesn't accept it because it doesn't work for both of them.
She's like, man, but we have too many mutual friends.
Which is a great reason to stay together, if we're honest.
Honestly.
What other reason is there to not break up?
I have been in relationships for far too long because we just had too many mutual friends. And
We break up, who's going to get the dog? Like,
we have to stay together
Not
and emotionally abuse each other.
Not Patrick.
you know what? I've thought about it. You can keep them, which is a great you have them. I do love how in the thing that he's talking about all this, Justin Thoreau's character is talking about all this conservative nonsense or whatever that he's talking about how we need to go to war with Japan or something like that. And Patrick Bateman's like, we need to make sure the homeless are fed, that there are rights for women and black people, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, is Patrick Bateman woke? Like, because all those things are the same talking points today. Except for that he kills women.
And he kills homeless people and he murdered a black man.
Yeah. I do love how every time, is that Donald Trump's car?
Is that Ivana Trump? No, why would she be here?
No, why would she be here? Wow, those jokes are very different today. The
This country is so fucking stupid.
Honestly, this film has just aged better.
Yeah, just
this film got lucky that politics happened the way it did, because it continues to age better and better.
Just 2 thumbs up. This movie came out today, everybody be like, "Hey, this is too much.
Too on the nose.
This is too on the. This would get like a 45%. Oh Jesus, there's 2 in the nose."
I'm sorry. We let Delroy Lindo wearing a MAGA hat, and this is too much?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Very much. I mean, although, you know what would not fly today? He wouldn't get away with it. Stomping out that dog. That would you would get canceled into oblivion.
I still hate that scene. That scene's still just like
that made me feel gross. That made me feel gross.
It's the only scene I fast forward through.
I don't like it. And I also always forget the kitten scene happens where the ATM's like, feed me a kitten.
Feed me a cat.
Feed me a stray cat.
I'm like, why am I the ATM machine? I'm like, bring me your cats.
That was
Feed me, Seymour.
The funniest thing about that is that he's just like, feed me a stray cat. And the woman has the audacity to be like, what are you doing? And he shoots her. Like, what are you doing? Get out of here. How dare you question what I'm trying to feed the ATM, lady?
But the cat gets away, I think.
Well, he puts it he puts it down. He's like, oh.
You're right. See. I want to kill people more than the cat.
I don't care if this ATM machine starves.
Your compliment was sufficient, Lewis.
Your compliment was sufficient.
Lewis makes me feel so weird in this movie.
It's the hair.
It's the hair and the way that he has his like lips, and he just the entire time everybody's so like it's such a weird contrast because he's just like, and I get why they did it. I mean, he's the most overtly gay character in this, but it's just it is so it's the hair and just the way that I don't know. Your compliment was sufficient, Lewis. But I said, Jared Leto is playing an actor playing this character.
Right.
He's just like
unpack that for me.
How would he, I think he went into this.
Professor Dex, unpack that.
Write your thesis. No, like I think everybody kind of got into character, and they're so heightened that it is sort of a parody of itself, especially Bale's character, you know, and they're kind of all playing off of him, I feel like. But I feel like Jared Leto, for some reason, just knowing who Jared Leto is, he had to have think, all right, what would an actor playing this character play this like? And
I'll do that.
Yeah, he's playing that actor playing that character. Like, that's really meta, but I feel like that's Jared Leto as well.
It's not the worst way to do it, though.
Because he's even more like, he's even more than Christian Bale in this movie. He's like, squash, can't have a thing at Dorsia. And he's just like,
he's got to eat sea urchins at Dorsia.
He's trying to be the most slick, and it's just not. I don't know. It's just a weird way to play it, and they have the best sea urchin ceviche. It's like
a really high version of Fraser Crane.
Yeah.
Like everything that he says is just like the most pretentious shit ever. But he's like a lot more like laid back and chill about it. Like, but even more of a douchebag about all of it. I watch.
Yeah, that just makes it worse. I'd rather have Fraser Crane than a high Fraser Crane.
Paul Allen has me mistaken for this douchebag, Marcus Halberstram. How's it going, Halberstram? Oh, it's great. I don't know. The sounds, this is my favorite part of this movie, actually. The sounds that the cards make when they're being handed out or unfolded, I was like, that got me going. I don't know what that was. I was just like, that sounds
sword.
Great. Yeah.
It is a slow down sound effect of a sword being unsheathed.
Caitlin's face when I said that was like, what?
I was like, oh no.
just having a business card holder and business cards just seems like so dope. Like, I need that in my life.
That's it. I wonder is it actually a sword slowly being unsheathed?
Yeah, that's the real ADR, or not ADR, the Foley is a sword being unsheathed.
Oh, really? I thought that was just an analogy you were making.
No. That's really what the sound effect is.
Because I was like, that's an interesting analogy, because also, like, swords and sheaths.
It's a dick measuring contest. It's a dick measuring contest.
That's just a dick. Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, that's the real
seen my dick? Like that's what
that's
what
really
the card
all
is.
that's happening.
Ask me about my wiener.
Ask me about my wiener. But it is. It's a new. He does unfold the thing. And Justin Theroux's line, which I dropped earlier, was that is that a gram? It was very stupid. But new card. That's bone. And just the way that he can't lose to anyone in that scene is incredible. Because the slow, like how mad he gets by the progression of the cards is also incredible, because you can see it on his face that everyone else is like kind of still doing the dick measuring contest, but he's just like, all right.
Well, because he's excluded. He is the smallest dick.
Let's see Paul Allen's card. And it's just sort of like gets out barely out of his mouth. And he's just like, and I did notice somebody on YouTube when I was watching that scene over again, because why not, was like, notice how they all put their cards away to show Paul Allen's card, because their cards aren't worthy of Paul Allen's card. Was a kind of an interesting take that somebody, I wish I could give him credit, but I'd never thought about that. But is that the best scene in this movie, or is it the Huey Lewis in the News?
Huey Lewis in the News, right?
Huey Lewis in the News.
Okay. I like the card scene, man.
Card scene is good.
The card scene is like,
it's so
emblematic
unnecessary
of the issue with the movie, because like
it's unnecessary.
And like, if you had like, people have shown me that scene before, and I was like, oh, okay, like this movie sounds really fucking stupid. But like after you watch the movie, that's a scene you'll go back to because it just makes so much more sense. Like it's not a scene that you can like show somebody out of context and be like, this movie is a fucking classic. It's like, this is really fucking stupid and I don't like it. But like actually watching the movie, it's like, holy fucking shit, look at this performance.
In the context of the movie, and you start to see the progression of who this guy really is and what this whole stupid world is about. It's incredible acting, man. I think it's really great. I think it's snappy, and the ADR in it, like I said, it was incredible. Like I said, it gets the people going.
The subtle off-white. Oh my god, even has
a watermark. What's wrong, Patrick? You're sweating.
The sweat line always gets me drunk.
Patrick, you're sweating.
You're sweating.
Justin Theroux needs to pluck his eyebrows. Apropos of nothing. That's just like he just had some creatures coming out of the middle of that. Like everybody else is all clean shaven. He just has a couple. I was just wanting to like give me that. Let's see. They do all say vice president on that.
Which is such a meaningless title, but
that was the point, right?
Yeah.
If you drop your vice president of something, it makes you sound important enough. But
it wasn't vice president of anything.
No.
It was just vice president.
President.
Murders and executions.
Murders and executions.
He didn't need to kill the dog. We already went over that. A great line in this is like, Halberstram, your lady. He's like, hey, man, I'm a child of divorce. Give me a break. Which is just another talking point about this movie. I'm just a child of divorce. Give me a break. Is that Ivana Trump? No, why would she be here? Okay, so everybody remembers the Huey Lewis and then it's your background. Everybody remembers the Huey Lewis and the News thing. But the way that he goes about in the monologue through that, because Jared Leto's not doing anything.
He's drunk as shit. He's blacked out.
Like he's fucked up.
Yeah, he's it's awesome though that he's delivering this performance around Jared Leto. Not
sitting on
him,
newspaper.
Yeah, there's no give and take. Literally nothing. And the one thing he asked him, he said, "Do you have a dog, a little chow or something?" No, Alan.
Is that a jacket? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Get a reservation at Dorsia now.
You dickhead. The way, though, that he hits and just drops the axe after it's like he has a bat flip was incredible. He just boom and just lets it go. And he's like, And I did say the scene, the quick shot of him with the suit and the blood on his face and a cigar would make a dope album cover.
Absolutely.
Be
Action
great.
Bronson's going to use it next.
Oh my God. Yeah. Do you like Huey Lewis in the News? When Sports came out in '83. I mean, it's just
Too new wave for me.
That was one of the things. That was one of the things that me and my friends would say. Like, if we had to go somewhere, we'd just be, or if we were introducing someone to our friend group because we were a bunch of psychopaths, we'd be like, "Do you like Huey Lewis in the News?" Or if we had to run somewhere really quickly, they'd be like, "Where are you? I have to return some videotapes."
Videotapes. I drop that all the time.
I have to
return some videotapes.
I have to return some videotapes.
I have lunch with Cliff Huxtable.
I have lunch with Cliff Huxtable at the Four Seasons. Which
Why does
now
someone get me every time?
Stephen Piggins just walked in.
No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Is this okay? Overarching theme of this movie, and I think that's what the ending is about. And we'll get to the very ending. I mean, we've touched on it a little bit. Sorry, pause. Are y'all getting feedback from me at all?
No.
Okay, good. Leave that one in. Is this movie about how no one pays attention to anything?
Like, I guess maybe kinda.
Because he drags Paul Allen's body out of the thing. He leaves a blood trail behind him in the lobby. The guard looks at him like, "What's up, dude?" And Lewis meets him and he's like, "Where did you get that bag?" What did he say? Valentino Couture or something like that?
Valentino Couture.
But yeah,
I mean, he drops it in a taxi, puts a dead body in a taxi.
Yeah, this movie's about how nobody pays attention to anything that matters, right?
It might be, but
it's about like conformity, and I think in that conformity, we assume other people are conforming.
Right.
And that, I mean, it's definitely a part of that, and it's also a part of that. Everybody is so enveloped in their own lives and that wanting to one-up your friends, but doing it in a way that's acceptable. So, like, they're all wearing the same Oliver Peoples glasses. They all have the same haircut.
They have a slightly better haircut.
They all go to the same barber, though.
Yeah, it's that, like, I need to one-up you by doing the same thing you're doing. And that's why nobody has the right name. Like, he's 6 different names. He's Mr. Smith. He's what's his face? Like,
well, because they're all like replaceable.
Because they all look the same. They're all replaceable. They're just bland Wall Street white guys, and that's why it's easy to get away with murder because they're all just doing it because they all look the same.
Well, yeah. Also,
go ahead.
I was gonna say also, like, the people that he's murdering for the most part, like, part of it is also like no one cares about those people
either,
and that's also part of it. That it's like those bodies are more disposable. No one cares about women. No one cares about homeless people. People don't care about people of color. Like,
the only person they care about is Paul Allen.
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe.
I mean, I know we're
and
still
even
jumping.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's in London. I mean, like, jumping to the end when he goes back to Paul's apartment and it's being sold, and the realtor clearly knows that there was a shit ton of dead bodies in there, but she doesn't care because the resale value of that apartment would plummet insanely if it was a murder house. So they rather just deal with a shit ton of bodies and
have a potential murderer on their hand.
Disposing of those, because if she doesn't, then she loses bank.
Sheer panic sets in as I realize his apartment looks over the park and is more expensive than mine.
Your new apartment is nicer than your old apartment. Not that much.
I don't know why I wrote this down. I think it was with his first meeting with Willem Dafoe. He's just the most guilty person ever. He's a terrible liar.
What were you doing that day? I was returning some videotapes.
Must have been returning some videotapes.
And then he feeds him like where you were, and he's like, yes, I was there.
But he gets rid of him by going, I have lunch with Cliff Huxtable at the Four Seasons. Isn't that way downtown? No, there's one over here. There's one down here.
Seems awful far.
No.
But I do love how all of his references are things that he thinks that are normal. like Cliff Huxtable, like returning videotapes, like
Mhm.
doing or just things that he thinks that normal people do, but he only has a few of them.
Well, and then he transgresses too at certain points that are kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Like, because he thinks that some references are going to go well, like his Ed Gein reference.
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, I look at a woman and I think either I want to take her out on a date or I want to like kill her.
Open her skull or something like that.
Yeah, which is
Put
like
her head on a
really
spike.
yeah, see her head on a
Ted
stick.
Bundy.
That's it. Yeah. And like there's just some key moments where he's like clearly transgressing. Also him being all like Ted Bundy, and Chloe Sevigny's like, who? Like, who the fuck is Ted Bundy?
I mean,
like,
and the whole thing is like every time he has these deep philosophical moments, he's just basically reading the Wikipedia page of artists' albums.
Right.
yeah.
Like
He's reading the thing that came in the CD that you unfolded.
Yeah,
like,
all those rants are meaningless, but he's just reading them as if these are like his original ideas and points, as if
Well,
people
and I think that's what's interesting too, is the only times that he seems to have original thought is like when he's talking about like fucking
about the
murder.
serial killers.
Yeah, like those are the only times he's like thought about anything like
which
cogent.
Instead of actually in 2020, he'd just be a true crime podcast host.
That's what I just keep saying. Is that I'm like, he would have found his niche where he could have indulged in capitalism and obsessed over murder. He would have just been Carol Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark on My Favorite Murder.
This episode of How I Murdered a Homeless Man is brought to you by Lisa Mattress. Lisa Mattress. Wrap up the homeless man you killed and throw him in the river. They're never sponsoring this pod.
He has a podcast that's like, instead of like, we watch wrestling or we watch old movies, it's just like, we watch old porn.
Yeah.
Like,
my favorite murder is literally his favorite murder that he's committed. Let me tell you about this one, folks. Chainsaw down the stairs. Nuts.
Genius. I was tracking her.
Yeah. It's nuts. I only had time to put on my shoes and nothing else, because that makes sense.
Incredible yeet.
Incredible that filming. Like, as a dumb English major like person, I love that the chainsaw is his dick. That's like my favorite visual moment.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. I'm a dumbass.
No, it's like literally, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, he's like sumo walking through those corridors with the chainsaw right in front of him.
And his chainsaw's just his penis. It's so good.
That scene was where I was like, okay, this movie is starting to lose me. This is getting really fucking stupid at this point.
It really jumps a shark at one point, kind of. Like, it's just like biting her a leg and stuff. Okay, we'll get to those. But the first scene with the prostitutes, why is he wearing a tux when he picks them up?
I have no idea.
I also wrote that down. I was like, this dude is definitely a serial killer, like walking around his own house in a tux.
He's just like, I do love how he's like, how much do you pay for your place? That's none of your business, Christine. You like Phil Collins? I just wrote down
Sabrina.
Why is he meaner to Sabrina? Why is he meaner to Sabrina?
Because fuck Sabrina, that's why.
Probably because, like, I wonder if there is like a class commentary there, because she's supposed to be a high class escort versus
whereas Christie's off the streets.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something there.
All I wrote down about that
scene,
really all I wrote down about that scene is I'm very uncomfortable.
Yep. All right, so here's more background.
Jake is like, I love this scene. This scene is only
This is some fucking art, and you guys are disrespect. No, apparently Christian Bale watched a shit ton of pornos and started like drawing out poses that he thinks would look good for this scene. Christian Bale thought a lot about a threesome.
Well, look, no one Christian Bale's stroke game isn't weak. That's what I will say about this. Like he's having himself a time and a half. Christian Bale loves him some Christian Bale. But all I said was, this is how Leonardo DiCaprio has sex.
Yeah.
I just had that thought right now.
Which is hilarious because Leo was originally attached.
Yeah, except that the women don't stay the night.
Yeah, no.
And he's wearing headphones.
I love that. Don't touch the watch.
Don't touch the watch.
We're not done yet.
A really stupid, but yeah, it was funny. A really stupid and funny and mean joke was like, wait. It's a really like 2007 joke where it's just like, wait. what if girls had personalities? There's no girls with good personalities. High five. It's just like they literally high five each other. Where I was just like, oh, that's so stupid and bad. Oh man, that was just early 2000s joke where they were just like they wrote it in there. High five. I'm so glad though a woman directed this.
Yeah.
She got it.
Well, I think she's also so smart with some of it because like I don't know. Like my favorite part, one of my favorite other visual things is like when they're underneath the covers having sex. Mm-hmm. Like in the next sex scene, the one with
the redheaded woman.
Yeah. I get them all like confused. So not the first threesome, but the second one. Yeah. Where he like stabs her at, like underneath the covers and sex turns into murder like instantaneously. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of fun.
Fun?
Why did well
it's fun.
Fun.
Why did he not actually choke him? He kind of goes up to him and is like just like has his hands like just barely like and he hovers there for a long time. I don't get why he didn't actually choke him. Maybe did he not?
They're like,
he was being sneaky.
Was he?
No.
I mean, I'm sure there's some commentary there because he immediately turns around and kisses the hand and says, I want you. So I'm sure there's some sort of homoerotic commentary there.
He also washes his gloves.
Yeah.
Which was, I don't know, that was really, he just got to get out of there and he washes his gloves.
Like, he's not above murder, but he's above gay sex.
Yeah. Well, because, again, AIDS crisis era.
Could be dyslexic.
That's
heavily dyslexic, and that's really just
it's really contagious.
Bloodborne.
I mean, would you rather have a blood disease or not be able to read? I present that question to you.
I'm stressed for
I have
cancellation.
No answer. Just kidding. Not being able to read. Okay.
I would rather be illiterate.
If we're gonna be canceled, it's because we meant it.
Whose joke is that? That's somebody's joke.
What?
Is that a Donald Glover joke?
Is it?
The would rather have AIDS thing?
No, I don't know if
wow,
if
dude,
it is,
you're gonna
get
canceled for joke stealing now.
Joke theft.
Fuck.
We've already talked about Dane Cook. Of course we're going to be joke stealing.
I was going to say we're like the Amy Schumers of podcasting.
The Donald Glover joke is, would you rather have AIDS or rather have a kid? And the answer is AIDS.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I've heard that one before.
I don't know if I agree.
That was the first return some videotapes line. That it has to return some videotapes. The next they're just random the actual comedy bit in this, which was really funny when they're all in line to do drugs in the stall. Like, can you quiet down? I'm trying to do drugs in here. Which, like, if that was in a comedy movie somewhere, like that bit would kill. If that was in a comedy movie somewhere, but in this, it's just like, that makes a lot of sense. They do need to be quiet. I'm trying to do drugs. They do a bad job of his hair getting longer and shorter in this movie at different times. Mm-hmm. Not really his fault, but it's like, I don't know. I just noticed that. Whitney Houston's LP album, debut LP, simply titled Whitney Houston. And also, when did he turn into a cannibal? Because he tries to he kills that one woman and then immediately kind of tries to come in there and bite that woman's leg.
I wonder if he's emulating the serial killers he's bringing up. Partially just because the necrophilia is Ted Bundy, also like anyway, picking up sex workers and specific sex workers with like specific types. But Ed Gein was a cannibal and also like executed women, took off their heads. He made a nipple belt.
Honestly, that's probably what it is, because Bateman's character is just stealing other people's ideas and trying to improve on them on his own. So that's probably 100% what it is.
I mean, is that where the chainsaw comes from after watching the movie?
Yeah,
probably.
I think so.
Duh. All right.
So I think I think the serial killers being mentioned are the serial killers he's emulating.
Somebody's
Bundy
here.
nail gun somebody?
No. I think
Sad.
that's just because like
Yeah.
But he doesn't actually do it. So I think that
That's
also
true.
is like he isn't actually able to do that one.
That was really good acting by Christian Bale because it's the one time that you're kind of like that, and the scene where he's calling his lawyer where it's like he feels a little remorse for some reason, which like is a really good kind of turn by Bale in that. It's kind of the few times that he has any other range outside of like rage or the comedy bit that he's doing throughout.
The remorse is interesting though, because it's like it's not that he feels bad for like them, which I think is smart. Like, I mean, that's like thus the psychopathy. He just feels bad because like he's gonna get caught. Like,
Yeah, or he can't relate to whoever he's trying to kill.
Exactly. It is interesting.
I did say, I mean, also to put on your shoes and no other clothes.
Yeah.
Like that takes longer to put. Like it takes longer to put on your shoes than to put on your boxers, man.
If you keep your shoes tied and just slip them on.
He keeps his shoes on
that little
during sex.
squishy back part.
That's what you
But
didn't
we
see.
all
You never
know
saw his feet.
When you're in a rush, you don't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus.
Able to grab a chainsaw and everything else, but it just I did say somebody's hearing that chainsaw, but to be fair, you're not stepping outside.
No, like why would you help her?
Oh no.
Yeah, what the hell I'm gonna do? Get chainsawed? Like fuck that.
Yeah, you almost certainly hear her getting murdered, and you're like,
help me! Oh, it's 5 a.m. Like I don't really.
You're like the bystander effect. Can you blame me? I can't. It's fucking New York City. Like,
there's only two things that can happen if I go out there while this man has a chainsaw. Either A, I can get chainsawed, or B, nothing happens at all. Like, it's not worth the risk.
Literally, they tell you actually if like you hear a crime and stuff like that, like to not intervene, because it's like they're like call the cops because like they're like we don't really need like 2 dead bodies. Like,
sorry for this lady. But you stay inside.
That's kind of what they tell you to do. They're like,
R.I.P. to that woman, but I'm built different.
They'd be, oh my God, they'd be just like, I hear a chainsaw outside. Don't do anything.
My favorite scene, sorry, it just came up to me because I was thinking about people who are stupid. And like the model in this like fucking movie where she's like, you think I'm dumb, don't you? And then she gets in the car.
He's like, no.
Yeah, I think you're very smart.
And the next scene is her head in the freezer.
You think I'm dumb?
No, the next scene is him holding the hair.
Yeah, he's like playing with her hair, which is super interesting.
Yeah, I guess the first time he's taking a souvenir.
Yeah. Well, it's also like that's also like kind of a romantic gesture, which is interesting. Like,
that's the murders and acquisitions line.
Mm-hmm.
Murders and executions line. Reese Witherspoon does really good in this. Like, you could see the vision with Reese in this because it's basically her. I mean, it's basically her. What do you call it? Character. Oh, I'm blank. Legally, thank you. Her Legally Blonde character. I wanted to say Pretty in Pink, but no.
It's what her Legally Blonde character wants to be.
Yeah.
But ultimately is not.
If we didn't chase down Warner, this is who she would have been.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and it's just like, but her actively not listening to him is incredible. Where he's just like, I need to commit homicide on a huge level. And she's just like, what?
My favorite is the fucking mistletoe scene where they're just going around being like, mistletoe.
Yeah, him talking to Paul Allen with we totally skipped over that scene, but with the reindeer antlers on is really stupid. But yeah, and he's just like, what's the line? Sorry. What's the line?
When they're breaking up?
Yeah. You're just not that terribly important to me. Is incredible. Like, what a flex. Just to be, you're just not. I don't find you that interesting. I don't know, man. Just a simple
I feel like that's a good way to break up with someone, though. Like, if I could give someone advice, I'd be like, if you have a fucking horrible like girlfriend or boyfriend, I'd be like, yeah, just tell them you're not terribly important.
Just not that terribly important to me. They'd be like, oh shit, like,
wreck that person's self-esteem.
Ooh. I didn't. That's like you feel it in your chest.
You're like,
oof.
Oh,
big oof.
Big oof. Like you go home and you're just kind of like what did I do? Yeah. But Reese was probably like, nothing, I'm the shit. like I'm awesome. Feed me a stray cat. Okay, so was the whole gunfight sequence that was in his mind, right?
Yeah. Because he doesn't fully believe it when the cop car blows up. He takes a moment to look at the gun.
Also, he's just never had a gun. It's never been his murder weapon.
Yeah, he just pulls that thing out of nowhere.
Which I don't know if I would have liked it more because it just goes straight from I got to return some videotapes to him walking down the street and getting money or something. So, but it's at night. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I guess like you're made to think that he went to sleep and it's a dream or something like that, but you never see it. And part of the just potato in me, like the dumb idiot in me is just like, show me where he like went to sleep or something like that, where it's just I don't know.
I think it's a continuation of the scene before it. So it's a precursor to the scene when he's in the office doing the confession. My interpretation is that he probably just did like a shit ton of coke or he's drunk out of his mind. And he's just slowly losing it in his office before he makes the confession. And so he starts imagining all the murders. Because it does tie back into the planner where it just keeps devolving the murders that he draws out.
Yeah. I mean, the best acting I think that he does in this scene is when he's freaking out making the confession to his lawyer. Mm-hmm. And he's crying and like snotting and everything. And he's just like, there's a lot of emotion there, which I think is great, just a great break in this movie. Also really funny when you think he's going to shoot the second guard and he takes out a pen and signs in. He's just like,
confession scene was shot 14 times.
Really?
Damn.
I'm not surprised at that. It's
okay.
I don't know.
No, so this is a dumb thing that I think is probably fake that I've heard somewhere. But isn't it when you start, and Caitlin, maybe you know more about, but like, because you like true crime, but like, isn't it when you're a cannibal and you start eating the brains that shit starts going really haywire?
What do you mean?
Like, I thought that there was, like, the reason that there was mad cow disease is because that they were feeding the other cow's brain. So it's like when you start eating, there's a random study, and maybe somebody's going to be screaming into their car that this isn't true. But like when you start eating the same species brains, that shit starts to go really messed up in your mind. So I don't
know. Because, like, I'm thinking about the...
probably not.
I'm thinking about the serial killers I know that, like, ate brains ever. And, like...
I mean, they're already messed up.
They were already kind of fucked up. So I feel like it's hard for us to, like, create a linear progression. And the main cannibals I'm aware of that, like, have spoken out didn't eat... what's his fucking name? He's Japanese, but he murdered a German girl. And ate her for like 3 weeks, and he got released because he's super important in Japan. So he did a Vice interview that's like 40 minutes long where he talks about cannibalism.
What?
I'm gonna Sagawa?
Yes, Sagawa. Something Ui or something like that. Sagwa. But I don't think he ever ate brains. I think, like, he said the best part of a human being is the thigh.
Just fat?
Yeah, because of the fattiness. It tastes like duck, apparently.
Yeah, duck.
But I was gonna say, I looked this up really fast. Apparently, the preppy murders in New York City actually inspired Bret Easton Ellis to write this book. So literally, in the book, I forgot about this. He talks about starting a defense fund for Robert Chambers, who is this murderer in New York City, who claimed that he didn't actually murder his girlfriend, that he was just performing BDSM on her and it went wrong. And
Sure.
I feel like there's a lot of that BDSM
Who's among us?
element in this film, which is kind of interesting in terms of inspiration, just to throw out there. It's interesting.
So you didn't answer my question. What happens when you eat brain?
I just said I don't think anything happens.
Tell me. I need to know.
I don't think anything happens. And I think also most cannibals don't. Because, like, for instance, Jeffrey Dahmer always gets called, like, the cannibal killer or whatever, the cannibal of Milwaukee cannibal. But he actually, like, rarely ate anyone.
Way to go, Milwaukee Police Department.
He was more just injecting people's brains with shit and hoping to create, like, sex zombies. But, like...
that's the grossest thing I've ever...
But most of them aren't, like, Ed Gein's a cannibal, kind of. Ted Bundy, I think, actually did eat a girl's butt, because I think they had
he did.
Yeah, because they
had to make sure it wasn't cake.
No, there's literally
shout out the meme.
This is gonna be really
That's so stupid.
I hate that fucking meme, and I don't understand.
That was a double entendre by you, and I actually really love that. That was great. Oh my
god. The way Ted Bundy gets caught is literally his teeth marks are on a girl's butt, I think. And they literally, because he tried to eat her. Or it's on her stomach. It's on her stomach. That's what it was.
I mean, Zac Efron does have some nice teeth.
Apparently, Ted Bundy had really fucked up teeth.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's why they were identifiable.
They're great.
I mean, when you're busy killing people, who has time to go to the dentist and get braces?
Apparently, there's so many fucking serial killers with gross-ass teeth, because the one defining characteristic of Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was how fucking bad his breath smelled, and all of his victims were like, his breath fucking smells so bad.
He was gonna kill me, but man.
The one thing I noticed is... One thing
he had a knife, but
that he smelled like corn nuts. He smelled like corn chips and feet. The craziest thing to me about the not Ted Bundy, but the Milwaukee
Jeffrey Dahmer.
The craziest thing to me about Jeffrey Dahmer, and not to get too far off track, is that his apartment smelled like rotting bodies, and his neighbors were still like, "Hey, can you not?" Like a couple times, and enough people were like, "Yeah, we'll go and sit around for a while."
Literally, Dennis Nilsen, who like has the exact same fucking MO as Jeffrey Dahmer, did the exact same crime, similar like number of victims in the UK, and the only way he got caught is he threw away someone's leg down the toilet, like he cut it up and like tried to flush it away, but it got stuck in the sewer system.
Oh my god.
And it ruined his whole apartment complex's sewer system. So they were like, dude, so he's been killing people. It's gone too far. We can't use our water.
I mean, fair.
Dude, I mean, if it was flushable wipes, it'd be one thing. Boom, second flushable wipes mentioned on this podcast. Sponsor the pod. The man wipe, dude wipes.
Dude wipes, that's what it is.
That's
Roman swipes.
Well, you know who could have used some of those? Patrick Bateman. Patrick Bateman.
Paul Allen.
A perfect
Paul Allen, that stupid bitch.
Paul Allen. Did you see the ad in the New York Times? There was no ad in the New York Times.
That's like so much of a like, did you go to prom with Debbie? Debbie's been dead for 15 years.
There was no Debbie.
Debbie's a fucking figment of your imagination.
My favorite meme going around now that it's just so dark is have you seen the "Did you win, son?" and it's the kid playing video games.
Yeah.
The dad comes in and says, "Did you win, son?" He goes, "Dad, I've been dead for 15 years." And the next panel is nothing and the dad crying. Dad, I've been dead. It's like, oh no.
Dad, I've been dead for 15 years.
That's what I was reminded of with this thing is like there There never was the New York Times. The New York Times is a figment of your imagination, Patrick.
There's only the New Yorker.
Why did I write down Bateman? Like Batman.
Bateman.
Because that's what he becomes.
And he murders the Joker?
And
Bruce
He
Wayne
did. He did murder the Joker. I'm Bateman.
Is that why you wrote
Superman?
that?
I don't know. I just had Bateman right here.
Were you like, that's a good Batman pun?
Oh, I know. I think it was probably when he was sitting there going like, I'm Patrick Bateman. And he's like, Bateman's such a, he's basically like, Bateman's such a puss. Like, he's just like, I don't know. That was a weird, I don't really get it. Maybe I'm an idiot. Like nobody knows who he is. Everybody he's so unassuming. He's a loser.
But also in the book, so this is another time I think the book does it slightly better. Everyone keeps getting everyone confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one knows who anyone is, basically. So like it's not just Patrick Bateman. It's literally, and it helps I think with the Paul Allen thing a little bit that like no one knows what Paul Allen like actually looks like either. Like, so with the London thing, that plays a little bit better, where you're like, ooh, was Paul Allen there? Because everyone keeps fucking up his name, too. Like, it plays a little different than just, like...
Paul Allen even exist? There was no Paul Allen.
Paul Allen's a figment... Paul Allen's been dead for
30 years.
I'm the real Paul Allen.
You always were Paul Allen.
No, I'm Paul Allen. No, I'm Paul Allen.
No, I'm Dirty Dan.
I'm the real Dirty Dan.
I'm Dirty Dan. Okay, SpongeBob, you can be Dirty Dan now. Who you calling Pinhead?
We went through 5 references.
Yeah, we really did. It was
Speed
wonderful.
train.
All right. Anything else? This is actually a pretty quick review of this movie. Anything else that y'all want to say about this movie? I mean,
the ending is so fucking dumb.
Oh, okay, well,
it's so fucking dumb.
There's also, it's just a lot of stuff isn't set up that I think helps make it actually successfully ambiguous. Because I think like the ambiguity in the book works. Like it is really fucking ambiguous in the book, and you're like, I don't know. But I feel like in the movie, I kind of have a very solid opinion of like what happened.
I will say I'm glad though, because this movie moves quick. It moves so quick, and fast. I'm glad about that.
Yeah.
So if they took all the time in the world, if this moved at like even a if this moved at a glacial pace, I think I would have hated this movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think you sacrifice like in order to make it move and for most of the movie be a fantastic movie. I think you have to sacrifice a little bit of the ending.
Well, and we're also very confused on timelines because it's sunny and happy New York City, but suddenly it's Christmas and then it's back to sunny and happy. Whereas we never see snow on the ground or what we associate with New York in winter. So timelines are very misconstrued. So there's a lot of happening in the background that indicate that perhaps what we're seeing is not reliable or necessarily what's really happening.
And Patrick Bateman is set up super early in the book as a very unreliable narrator. Because like I know.
Patrick Bateman, unreliable.
He literally gets everyone's name wrong. And like he'll identify someone with features and then call them by a totally different name. Like 2 pages later, or he'll be in the middle of a conversation.
This book sounds confusing as hell, man.
It's super confusing, but it's really, really good. It's really well done. But yeah, anyway, what I'm saying is I think we get the unreliable narrator a little sooner in the book, and I think that helps.
Okay, so I think that like the way that you're describing the book, I don't know that it makes the ending any better, because at least not for me, because it just sounds like it's ambiguous just for the sake of being ambiguous. Like it doesn't seem like there's anything like beyond like the questions of the book or the film, like, you know, whether or not this is actually happening or like, I don't know. It just sounds like the questions that you ask about it being ambiguous aren't like that interesting or worth asking. It's just ambiguous.
The book is also more concerned with mental health than the film is. So the nature of him...
He takes pills like twice in this, and he's just like, maybe this will help. It's just
he has like it is heavily implied he has schizophrenia in the book. And so the ambiguity is a little bit more interesting, where it's like we're dealing with what we normally think of like consumer culture and toxic masculinity. Is it this, or is it literally just a man who's extremely mentally ill, or is it both? Like, so I think the ambiguity is more interesting, and it's playing with a lot of different things. I find it meaningful. I read it and was like, this has a purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Dex, let's be honest. Me and you are never reading this book.
oh, definitely
no,
not.
It's,
But
no,
I just feel like,
it's 500 pages. I don't know. It's
team
pretty
no
long.
read over here. Team never read.
yeah, I'm definitely not reading the American Psycho book, whatever it is actually called.
It's so
But,
good.
like,
Yeah, it's called American Psycho.
Sure.
The book.
But like,
The book.
I just,
Semicolon.
to
The
be
book.
clear, why I hate the ending of the book.
The
It's not- or
novelization
not-
of the film.
Yeah, I'm like, you've never read the book. You can't hate the book, Dex.
Why I hate the ending is because like it being ambiguous, at least like to my 2020 brain that like has accepted all the commentary already about, you know, the yuppie culture and capitalism and consumerism or whatever. It's like, okay, once we figure out what's actually like happening in the plot of the story, there's nothing else that really matters like beyond that with the ambiguity. So like Inception has like a classically ambiguous ending that
We're gonna
everybody
so
loves,
disagree
right?
because I also hate Inception. I think Inception.
Oh
is
my
the worst.
I don't care about like what you
Oh
think about
my
Inception as
God.
a movie. What
And I find
the
its
point remains
ambiguity
the same.
pointless.
I am
Like,
excited to see how we compare Inception to American Psycho.
What I'm saying is like the end of Inception. It's like is the top still spinning? Cool. Like whether or not the top is still spinning, like in the plot of the story, the question that the ambiguity raises is whether or not it matters, right? Like what's the nature of reality? Like what,
So
you
deep.
know, how do we think about, you know, what's real? Blah blah blah. It doesn't matter what we feel, et cetera, et cetera. With American Psycho, it's did he actually murder these people? And if you ask, does it matter if he actually murdered these people? The answer is yes, and it's over. And like that's dumb. And like I don't need the ambiguity here.
It
Why
does
is the
not.
answer yes?
If the answer is yes, then like the answer
But
is
why-
yes. It matters what if he murdered the people, that's important. If he didn't murder the people, that doesn't matter. Is what
Yes,
I'm
it
saying.
does. If he
Like,
didn't murder the people, that matters almost more.
More.
Yeah. I think
How?
because my interpretation of the movie is he did not murder those people. That
okay,
is
then,
all in
like the
his
movie
head.
doesn't matter. Is what I'm saying.
No,
if
it
he didn't
does
murder
because
the
he's
people.
devolving because of the world that's around him, because of consumerism, because of toxic masculinity. He's an inherently violent person because those cultures create violence in your head.
I think
So
you're
it
viewing
doesn't-
this through
and
a
that's-
2020 lens too. Like, not to say what
Yeah.
you are doing, but I feel like that's what you said. That knowing all this stuff in 2020, like,
Yeah, it's
these
like
are
all
looked
that
at.
is
These
so
are looked
obvious
at.
to me.
These
I
are looked at
definitely-
differently, though.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think it's one of those things where it's like, for the time, maybe not 2000, but when I think it was originally written, and I think also actually in 2000, I think we were dealing with that commentary not being done and like really not even being started. I mean, we're just coming out of the Clinton era where it's literally so clear that like capitalism and like that capitalism is all that matters and women don't matter at all and are disposable. Like, and I think a lot of that violence that we like approved of during like during the Reagan era, during the Clinton era, is what's kind of being addressed, and that's what's at stake there. And I do
The
think
ambiguity
it matters.
of the ending doesn't.
That's what I'm saying
make
is it
those
does
points,
matter though, because the whole point is that like even if he doesn't do it, he wants to. Like,
So
and that
anyway,
those
there's
people.
going to be a draft.
To your point, Caitlin, we didn't get the magnum opus of this kind of thing until Mad Men in like 2007.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so it's just like it's basically the same thing, less killing. But
Yeah, it's like like the fact that these powerful people want to do those things.
Mhm.
And I think that's what I'm saying is him not wanting, the fact that he didn't do it but still wanted to is fucking more
It would
disgusting.
face zero consequences.
What?
It would face zero
Yeah,
consequences.
and it does face zero consequences. It doesn't actually matter.
Society
that, like,
that he lives in would accept him doing these things because to point them out would bring everybody else's down.
So
guys, we live in a society, Murray.
So I was actually going to say something I just thought about. My dad worked on the Robert Chambers
Shout
murder.
out Paul, come on the podcast.
Come on the podcast,
he worked on the Preppy murders when he was a young lawyer. And something that's super important to know about that is he brutally in cold blood murdered his girlfriend and only got 10 years.
Paul murdered his girlfriend?
No, Robert Chambers. Robert Chambers, which inspired a lot of American Psycho.
On the podcast, explain murder.
He literally only got 10 years in prison, but then he attempted armed robbery in like 1996 and got 40 years. So literally taking capital mattered more than taking this woman's life. Which I think is like just alive in action of why it doesn't even matter if he actually did it.
I will say to your point, Dex, viewed through a 2020 lens, like, you know, if I'm looking at it now, I'm just kind of like,
I too have read the New York Times.
You know, like I do get where you're looking at it from that angle.
Yeah, it's like all of that is so like obvious to me. Like at this point, obviously, like this movie came out 20 years ago, but like watching it now, it's like all of that is so obvious, and like the ambiguity doesn't add to it at all. It's just ambiguous for the sake of it.
Do you think
we're going to change each other's minds?
Can I say one thing though that I think to counter that one thing, one baby thing?
If it's about Paul murdering his girlfriend, then yes, you can.
It's different.
I'll allow a rebuttal.
I think that you see it differently, and like because I think you properly interpret this movie and know what it's saying, but most of the people like that I've talked to, most of the men that I have met who have watched this movie do not get the irony, and I think there is something that this is actually not obvious to them, and that these points are still points that need to be made and that literally are not widely societally accepted. And that most people that view this movie actually just view it as, oh my God, how fucking cool, this guy's murdering bitches. Like,
I have not met one guy that was like, hell yeah, chainsaw drop.
Literally, like, I have met a guy who I talked to this movie with him, and he was just like, I kind of get what he means, though, where it's like sometimes it's like, yeah, sometimes I just want to punch her in the face.
Sometimes you have to kill her. You should have turned this man in.
That he was saying that he understood wanting to enact violence on women, like looking at a woman and wanting to like punch her. And he was like,
I've never punched a woman, but
I don't know.
She looks at me wrong one time, though.
Was he wearing
I'll shake the shit out of her.
I'm just saying, I think like you can view it. I think a lot of people still need this message today. Like,
fair.
We are the world.
We are the
children.
Okay, I'll allow a few hours for deliberation. We'll come back.
We'll argue off pod. We'll fight.
Yeah.
As per usual.
We are having a top 4 Christian Bale performances, not films, because The Dark Knight would go first if it was films. But we're having a top 4 Christian Bale performances draft, not a top 4 Christian Bale films draft.
Mm-hmm.
Because The Dark Knight would go first, and I don't think that's accurate.
Okay.
I'm very confused with the differentiation here.
Oh my God, we're not doing this again.
His actual performance in the movie, not just how good the movie is.
Oh, okay. No,
yes.
I was very confused on how Royan was saying it. I was like, wait, we're not taking films? We're taking
I was like,
theater performances?
no, that's why I was like, was Christian Bale on Broadway?
Well, yeah, probably. But no, I'm saying his performances in the films. Okay, I thought you were going like, why can't I just pick the movie?
No, I was also like, did he have like a TV show?
Because you worded it in such a way that, because you're like, well, we can't take Dark Knight. So I was like, wait, that's a movie, so we're not doing movies?
I thought we were about to have the Netflix argument again, and I did not want to do that.
I just wasn't aware that Christian Bale was such a like prolific actor in other mediums.
He's been doing off-Broadway for years.
Christian Bale TV shows.
Christian Bale YouTube skits.
Christian Bale rants. Party.
First round pick, I'm taking the YouTube clip of him yelling at everybody on set.
At a grip, at a poor grip for standing in his light.
Yeah, that will be my first round pick then.
So what's the draft order again, Dex?
It is Royden, Caitlin, Jake, Dex.
Whew, man. All right. I hate this. I like I like having the turn at the end, actually. But I gotta go with the one that he won his Academy Award for, The Fighter. He washed Mark Wahlberg, and that's not that hard to do.
Yeah,
but he
really
washed Mark Wahlberg in that movie. He was incredible. And again, the weight loss, and it looked like he lost teeth. Like they shaved his hair down. It was an incredible physical performance, and it was a very emotional performance. It's not the best movie that he's in, but I think the sum of his performance, he and who plays the mother in that movie? Oh God. Oh no. She won an Academy Award as well.
Melissa Leo?
Yes, he and Melissa Leo carry that film. And I think it is his best performance.
Caitlin, get in there, right?
Hell yeah. I'm gonna snatch up The Prestige.
It's not his best performance, though.
That is a fantastic performance.
I think he's really good.
That is a good one.
That was
good. My first pick.
He's one of my favorite.
He's just as good as Hugh Jackman.
Like.
They're both great.
Yeah, it's an amazing film.
Very confused about this draft all of a sudden.
I'm like, yes, they had both very good performances, and that's why The Prestige.
He has to be. He has to be the best. Damn it.
I would argue he's really fucking good in The Prestige.
I mean, he is. He's good.
But I don't. Really
I need to rewatch that movie. Holy crap!
I haven't seen it in so long, but I literally forgot he was in it for some reason. And that's the one that it suddenly occurred to me, and I was all like, "Oh, that's fucking right." This
Christian
is a Christian Bale film.
Christian Bale and his Eddie Murphy turn as two people.
The two Bordens. Yeah. No,
I need to rewatch that movie. Anyway,
I have it on DVD. I watch it all the time.
It's such a good movie.
Great movie.
Is he trapped in the?
I might rewatch it.
Who's the real one, or is he trapped in the water? Who is it? Anyway.
I might rewatch it for some ScarJo fun.
I might rewatch The Illusionist.
The Edward Norton.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not love The Prestige? You have fucking David Bowie playing Nikola Tesla.
I know.
I always forget that. He comes walking out of lightning like, okay. All right. Is it Jake or Dex?
It's Jake.
Jake.
I'm sorry, I fucked you over for the first time ever.
Well done.
You hate to see that. You hate to see it.
What a turn. So the turntables have tables.
The turntable.
You were so close. You were right there.
Were you trying to do the Michael Scott, how the turntables? You just did it. That's incredible. That was actually impressive.
You almost had it.
How the turntables have become tables.
How the tables have turned tables into turntables.
I'm taking Dan Evans, 3 Tim to Yuma.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like. Go ahead. Why?
Because Prestige was already taken.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean it's good. It's Russell Crowe is not good in a Western film, but Christian Bale.
What?
He's okay. He's okay. But Christian Bale is great. Again, like every fucking Christian Bale movie, you believe he's an American, and then when you finally hear him talk like a real person, he's Welsh, and you think it's all a joke.
I love how once a year that blows people's minds because he doesn't do interviews. Like if you go and look at his IMDb, he never does like morning talk shows or anything, or even late night talk shows. I don't know how he gets away. I guess you don't have to if you're famous, but like he's just like that every year he'll win an award and everybody. Christian Bale is British. Yeah, we've been
Welsh
new.
motherfucker.
Well, it's part of the reason his accent in Ford v Ferrari is so good. Like,
It's
The dude
accurate.
nails an American accent.
Damn it.
yeah, I figured someone was going to take Ford.
My next pick is Ford v Ferrari.
Yep.
That movie is so fucking good.
It's really
His
good.
performance is so fucking good. I watched it again the other day. I just love it so much. It didn't get the praise that it deserved. It got a lot of praise, but it deserves more.
It surprisingly won more Academy Awards than I thought it was going to.
What it won, like 3?
It won two or three, all for like sound and things like that, which it should have. But man, him and Damon, those are movie stars, man.
They were fucking cooking, man.
Yeah.
That shit.
That's like an old school. When you talk about movie stars, you've said this on Twitter before, Deck. So I hate to steal from you, but it's like when you talk about old school movie stars, like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Like you watch Matt Damon and Christian Bale in that movie, and it's like, sure, they're like nailing a lot of the like technical aspects of acting or whatever, but it's also like that's Matt Damon and Christian Bale, and it's cool as shit. Like,
they're
that's super
fast,
important
man.
sometimes.
That's just very important. You don't need much other than that. Just like put them together, let them eat. Yeah, the movie's on HBO Max. My brother and I just popped it on. We were about halfway through it before I had to go propose to Caitlin. I was kind of like, do I have time?
Wow.
Do I have time?
Shout out to what's his name for also being an American Psycho with Christian Bale.
Oh yeah, Josh Lucas. Shout out.
Yeah,
a man who never ages.
Never.
Yeah, he does look exactly the same 19 years later in this movie. My second pick.
Glory Road is a great movie. I won't hear any different. Anyway.
Speaking of Josh Lucas, watched Beautiful Mind this weekend. Him from like his 20s to I guess like his 50s, and all they do is give him slightly darker hair but choose to do nothing with his face. And I was like, oh, so they just somehow time traveled and recognized that Josh Lucas
we get it.
Like Josh Lucas.
What is your second pick?
It's Newsies.
Oh!
Which, like, I mean, did you watch Newsies every single day growing up because you fucking loved
100% he
it?
took that just so he could take it from you.
Yeah, I know you did.
Exactly. She didn't want to trade up for it.
Wow.
So
yeah, because that's trash. But I'm also going to say I know every word to Newsies, and I saw it on Broadway
you're
3 times.
You're not winning here.
So.
But he still has the pick, though.
Yeah. I don't really care.
I actually do really like the movie Newsies.
I don't know if I've seen it.
But
I had some better picks lined up. I knew this was happening. I didn't.
I mean, Royden, you probably like it.
You'd like it. It's super cute.
You'd probably like it. Yeah, it's not. You're not gonna like think it's like the greatest movie ever.
It's not like I liked it because I like musicals. Like it's good. If you like musicals, it's a good time.
It's got a few slappers.
It's not the greatest movie of all time, which is Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
I'm not doing this.
Thank you, Jake, for really just.
Jake, what's your pick?
Bringing it back.
Because
Shawshank Redemption is his pick.
It is.
Christian Bale-esque.
Christian Bale as Morgan Freeman was incredible.
I will be taking. I still don't understand the rules of this draft anymore because I feel like it fell apart. So I'm just going with my heart now. I will taking Quinn Abercrombie from Reign of Fire.
Oh my God, why?
Because that fucking movie kicks ass. It's Christian Bale versus Dragon.
You gotta take. What was Matthew McConaughey's name in that movie? It's even worse.
Yeah.
Quinn Abercrombie and. Oh my God! What is that movie?
Denton Van Zandt.
That movie is just one big guitar riff.
So good.
That movie is one big tap out shirt.
Matthew McConaughey has a fucking axe to the whole thing, and also a tank.
He dies by jumping off a pillar straight into a dragon's mouth. It's just like, what was the point? So stupid.
He has a whole fucking tank and a helicopter, and still he carries around an axe.
Incredible.
It's such a great movie.
Denton Van Zandt and what was Quinn Abercrombie. Incredible.
Quinn Abercrombie. There's an entire scene where they attempt to pretend like Star Wars was an original idea of theirs.
They try to catch a dragon by jumping out of a helicopter on top of it. Like the dragon's not going to know. And one of the guys just hits the ground.
I've never seen this movie, but hearing y'all describe it, I have to watch it.
Incredible cinema. Incredible.
Bad shit insane. Like 2001.
It's bad movie.
It is bad. It's a TNT movie through and through.
I literally think that's where it gets its replay value. But dragons actually look incredible.
No,
in
it's
it, which
pretty
is
good CGI for whatever year it came out.
Didn't.
What is it?
Apparently on
2002.
that film set, this is a hilarious piece of trivia. Matthew McConaughey made everyone on the film set call him Tintin Van Zant, which is just great.
Just needed to get into that
I
character's
need to get in this
mindset.
character.
Of
Call
a
me
bald
Denton.
guy.
Mr. McConaughey, hey,
Denton.
name's Denton.
Caitlin, your pick.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm just gonna take it because I don't care that much about Christian Bale. And I have 2 picks later. I think I care more about, but no one's probably gonna take. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take American Hustle off the board.
That movie stinks.
I like American Hustle. I like that movie.
I mean, it's
All
the first time we ever got
that.
chubby Christian Bale.
I don't think he's the best character in it, but like,
Bradley Cooper is.
yeah, and like Jennifer Lawrence kills it. But
Bradley Cooper, the greatest director of all time.
He's good in it. I think it's a good film. I'm gonna take it because I need to round out my draft a little bit.
I remember being so disappointed by that movie after Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah.
I was so bored by that movie.
They have a worse movie. Bradley Cooper really disappointed with Jennifer Lawrence in that fucking film Serena or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Just trash.
That tank didn't even come out.
Trash.
Best part of that movie is when Bradley Cooper beats up Louis C.K.
Who
Who would have thought?
would have thought?
So I'm gonna go with not a great movie, an incredible performance. Vice.
Yeah.
Tim as Dick Cheney was just another one of those things where it's like we could have put a fat suit and makeup on you, but he was like, I'll just gain the weight. That's easier than the makeup.
That movie fucking stinks.
Yeah, it's so pretentious.
It's really bad.
It was so pretentious.
The performances themselves weren't the fucking worst. It's just like
I really liked his performance. I thought his performance was really, really good.
And what's her face as
Amy
Lynn
Adams.
Chaney? Yeah, she does a really good job as Lynn.
And I'm kind of torn here because I can go with a better movie and a really good performance. You know what? I'm going to take this because I don't think that I'll eventually get it because I feel like on the trend that Jake is on right now, I'm going to take The Machinist.
Okay.
Okay.
The thing where he does like the body thing where he's like missing like like you didn't have to do that, but thank you for doing it for us, Christian. That was awesome.
Because Christian Bale walked so that way Joaquin Phoenix could run.
Yeah. So I'm going to take The Machinist. There's some better films on here, more popular films, but I really like that performance, and it's really weird and unsettling.
Okay.
And it's like the classic Christian Bale thing where it's like, obviously we didn't need this from you, but we're so glad we have it.
Good.
Glad that exists. He might be the skinniest person that's ever lived.
That's not true.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, it's not.
Didn't 50 Cent also do a stupid skinny role, I feel like?
Yeah, he did one where he got like leukemia or something.
Matthew McConaughey also got like fucking tiny for Millionaire.
Yeah, but
I think we can all agree that we've outgrown the need for these movies and these roles.
It's ridiculous. It's silly.
Matthew McConaughey's thing was like, well, if I didn't do this, it'd be a disservice to this character. Like,
Would it be?
Yeah.
Would it be?
Although having just ripped six-pack Matthew McConaughey, who is dying from HIV, would have been like a weird turn. Anyway, Caitlin, go ahead. I love how you laughed at dying in HIV. Jeez, Kate, where are you at right now?
American Psycho vibes. That's not what I'm picking. I'm gonna pick Little Women.
Really?
I was gonna try to take that in the fourth.
I knew you would.
The original Laurie.
I think he's better than Timothée Chalamet by like a fucking mile.
100%.
He is a much more likable, much more like genuinely like sex symbol Laurie, which is what you want. I also low-key, I really like the new Little Women, but I like the old Little Women like 1,000 times more. And maybe that's just because I like Winona Ryder so much, but like I don't know, Christian Bale's so good in it. And like, I had such a huge crush on him like for so long. And I was like, why are you rejecting him? He's so cute.
Related. Speaking of Winona Ryder, a movie I've never watched full way through, Reality Bites, because every time I try to watch it, I fall asleep.
I hate Reality Bites, and I think it's because of how much is it Ben Stiller? Yeah, Ben Stiller annoys the shit out of me in Reality Bites.
Ben Stiller and Ethan Hawke. Shout out H-Town.
Yeah, that is a stupid Austin film. Is it me?
Yeah,
it is.
Then it goes to Dex.
Play your cards right.
Sorry, I took Rain of Fire in the second. I have no more cards.
You're just
you're like
you're going for the graphic at this point. Terminator Salvation.
I actually like that movie.
Same actually.
Just so I can actually get in a good award-winning performance, I'll take Rescue Dawn.
Ooh, Werner Herzog.
Christian Bale is a POW escaping in the Vietnam War. He gets shot down. It's very good.
I'm gonna make you crawl through the mud, Christian. Do you think that's okay? Yeah, sure. I don't know.
The effeminate Werner Herzog.
Except for Werner Herzog's God, man. Mandalorian was great. Anyway,
Yes, it was.
Dex, go ahead.
So yeah, I'm just gonna take these two because I know I can win the Twitter war, like the Twitter poll on the draft. So I'm gonna just take American Psycho and The Big Short.
Damn it! And Caitlin dropped.
Yeah.
Did her laptop die?
How would we know?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
This will be fun. I'm gonna pause this. Oh.
I have a screen. Hey, my internet cut out.
What?
We'll call this.
And who's in the Zoom?
What is going on?
Unfriended 3 coming to theaters.
Oh, there we go. Wow. Get your money up. Let's go. Wait, she's frozen again. Oh, no. Should I pause this?
She's frozen with like the most terrifying smirk.
I'm telling you, this is Unfriended 3.
Probably. Galen's dead.
She's been dead for 30 years.
I can't get off the Zoom call.
You've never been on the Zoom call.
Oh.
God, now I'm gonna watch Rain of Fire tomorrow.
Are we still recording? Did y'all pause?
I didn't pause myself.
Okay, good. Just keep it going. Keep it.
Yeah,
This is
I
all,
keep it going.
This is
I
all
can cut this
YouTube.
out.
This is all YouTube.
All right, I keep forgetting we do YouTube.
Yeah, I need to put the last one on there. I didn't. Let's see here.
Shout out
Caitlin!
father-in-law Toba, who now watches our YouTube.
Oh, did he watch the whole thing?
Whichever. Do we just only have the one up there? Oh, she's moving.
Hey! We good?
Yeah.
Cool.
You pay your bill?
It's not like that. We don't get connection at my parents' house. Like, it's spotty.
Paul skimps on his.
Come on, Paul.
No, it's like, it's an issue. My dad works from home, and like our internet only works 2 hours a day.
Are you using up all the bandwidth right now?
No, it's like, we have the premium plan, like top plan, and it only works 2 hours a day.
Still has dial-up internet.
It sucks. Anyway, sorry.
There's a movie premise in here somewhere.
Where did you so Dex, again, what'd you say? You said Big Short and American Psycho.
Okay.
I should have taken The Big Short.
He's vying
Jake,
for
what
those
did you
3
pick?
retweets. Before
Rescue
this?
Dawn.
Rescue Dawn.
Okay, cool. I'm just keeping track. Okay.
All right,
cool.
back up to Jake.
For my last pick, because I've already thrown this draft away, I'm taking Equilibrium.
Nice.
Oh, no.
A movie I used to think was extremely intelligent. I was like, this is what the future's going to be like, repressed emotions. And in a way, it kind of isn't.
I love how your thing just turned into a bit after you took Rain of Fire. Like, whatever.
I mean, because Christian Bale is one of those actors that I feel falls in the same category as Michael Sheen, that if you hand over a script, he'll just do it. So
but that's not true.
There's a lot of duds in here on this list.
He does like 2 movies a year.
Yeah.
Maybe earlier in his career.
Either way, we get Taye Diggs hunting down Christian Bale, who has emotions. What more do you want in a movie?
Let me just say, this movie is the reason that to this day I hate Taye Diggs. I cannot stand Taye Diggs because of this fucking movie. Just the sight of him makes me so fucking mad.
But Taye Diggs is so good in Rent.
I watched Rent after watching this movie, so I was just disgusted to see him.
Here's my favorite
him getting
riff.
his face chopped off by Christian Bale, while awesome, just made me hate him so much. Like as a real person, I can't explain why. Don't ask me to make sense. I just despise Taye Diggs because he got his face chopped off in like 3 seconds in the final fight of this movie.
Holy crap! This has a 33 on Metacritic.
It's not good.
This movie stinks. But it has a 7.4 on IMDb. Apparently people actually users like this movie.
The action is like the dumbest, most fun action you've ever seen in your life. Because he's literally just like waving around pistols like they're nunchucks and shooting people.
It was a want to be Matrix, post-Matrix, but somehow had like a Brave New World 1984 feel to it.
Did Sean Bean die in this movie?
He does.
Yeah, he did. All right.
What do they call the martial arts in this movie? Was it like gung
fu?
It's the same thing that they use in John Wick.
Mm-hmm. But John Wick was way better.
Yeah.
True. All right, Caitlin.
I'm taking this movie because I don't care and I'm not 100% sure it counts. But it's Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh.
The American dub?
Yeah, the American dub is actually one of the few anime dubs I think is actually pretty good. They did some quality work. Emily Mortimer is also really fucking good in it, and Lauren Bacall.
I was gonna take that as a joke at the very end.
I love Howl's Moving Castle. It's like I was a big Miyazaki fan as like a kid because I don't know, but all my friends were weebs, and that was like mainstream weebdom.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think like it's super cute. Billy Crystal's also really fucking good in that movie and dubs really, really well.
Is that a Studio Ghibli?
Yeah, it's Studio Ghibli. Miyazaki.
Ghibli.
And yeah, I don't know. It has one of my favorite lines in like a movie ever, which is just like, "You ruined my hair. I'll never be beautiful again." Anyway, that's what I want for rounding out. Everything else sucked, so I don't care.
Okay, so
you gotta do it, right? Come on, Royden.
No, he banned it at the top of the draft.
No, I didn't ban it.
You banned it.
Come on, Royden.
I didn't ban it.
We're not allowed.
It's not his best performance, though.
I still don't understand.
It's the last pick.
He's still good in it.
It's Mr. Irrelevant. Just do it.
This is silly.
It's not the last. It's not the last pick, but yeah, okay. It's The Dark Knight. Yeah, it's the best movie he's been in by far. I think he is shitted on by Heath Ledger, but I guess that's not saying that much.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fair.
Yeah, it's
to
tough.
compare because it's just like that's.
But he's not a good Bruce Wayne, and we had this discussion last week.
But I'm just saying, it also, I don't know. It's hard when someone else is turning out the best performance, probably of the decade.
Yeah, that's true.
Just give you all of the Batman, the Dark Knight.
Yeah, you can have every single one.
Give me that. That's fine. My last pick is Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
Good for you.
No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. What would my last pick be? Oh, I had it right here. Did we pick Empire of the Sun?
We did not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Empire of the Sun.
That's fair.
He was young as hell in that movie. Had to carry a Steven Spielberg film. People forget he was a child actor.
Hand chosen by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, chosen by the God. I should have picked Mary, Mother of God.
Yeah.
Mary, Mother of Jesus. He was Jesus. He was white Jesus. Yeah. Christian Bale playing White Jesus in a TV movie is kind of crazy.
He is my Lord and Savior, my Heavenly Father.
Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
There's so many of these movies I just haven't seen. Like,
yeah,
what
that's the
is
issue.
The Promise?
I had to pick a lot of, like, I don't know. I felt strongly about 2 movies, and then like the rest I was like, okay.
He has a history of playing just Middle Eastern film. He was Moses in Exodus, Gods and Kings.
Why is he doing so many religious films?
Out of the Furnace, which nobody saw, which spawned a lot of careers.
Is that about Daniel in the furnace? What are these about?
Public Enemy is the most disappointing movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
With Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah.
Voice in Pocahontas.
Yes.
He is Thomas in Pocahontas.
Hot, let's just say. Hot animated character. Don't look at me like that, Jake. Don't look at me like that.
And he's going to be in Thor, Love and Thunder, which I can't wait for.
That's my 5th pick. I assume it's going to be good.
Also Hostels, which was just long for no reason.
I've heard good things about Hostels, but I've never actually watched it.
Dope mustache. And then that weird Netflix Jungle Book film where they all had human faces.
Yep.
All right.
I'm out there, the terrible Bob Dylan biopic.
Oh, you don't like that? I figured that would be a movie you would like.
It's okay. It's not great. It's okay.
All right, guys. We're going to end this on a whimper. We're at 2 hours right now. That was American Psycho. I think that may have been some of the deepest discussion that we've had in a long time on this podcast, to be honest.
Honestly.
To be honest, we got kind of deep on that one. So enjoy a little bit more in-depth discussion.
I feel like I'm upset with us that we got deep on it because I feel as if now we're just... Yeah, like, I'm also like... serious. Now we're those fucking bros that are like, but it's fucking deep. And like, just remember, which I like did a lot of. I turned into a white man. Like
we also did.
If this is your first episode, go back to the other 31 episodes where we talked about Pixar moms.
Where we talked about Pixar moms and Batman pooping. Like that's like what we do.
That's more our brand.
That's on brand. We need another guest to make uncomfortable. We're just too comfortable with each other. We're just like, we've said it all. So do y'all just want to have a normal conversation?
We've like given up on comedy. We're like, let's actually have like a good conversation about like social issues.
What is the meaning of ambiguity?
What is the meaning of ambiguity?
Yeah, we all just are getting really fucking pedantic. We're all like throwing out definite, like we're going deep.
Pour myself a scotch and smoke a cigar while we talk about
with blood on my face.
Yeah, unsheathing penises
and chainsaws for dicks.
Well, we were kind of
Inglorious Bastards, where we're just constantly saying Gorlami.
That was half the podcast where we're just like, that was funny. All right, so you can find us at the One Take Pod on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and Reddit. You can find us all there. One Take Pod on all of those things. Follow us, download, rate, subscribe. You can find us at the One Take Podcast on You can find us at the One Take Podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. There hasn't been a rating and review in a long time, guys. I know you're listening. We got a lot of downloads this past couple of weeks over the over Batman versus Superman. They came out of the dark for that one. The Release of Snyder Cut gang came out of the dark for that one.
They were like, Spider-Man turn on the lights. More like Batman turn on the lights. Likes.
You want to run that one? I'll give you one more chance at that.
Tables and turns.
Turns and tables and tables and turns. But yeah, you can find us on all those platforms. Please, please, please. It does help us a lot if you do. When you listen, download, rate, and subscribe, especially on iTunes. And if you listen on Spotify, which I know a lot of our listeners do, please follow us on Spotify. That will help our algorithm out a lot. Download our episodes on there as well. You can find us also at onetakepod.simplecast.com. Send us an email at onetakepodcastshow@gmail.com. That's onetakepodcastshow@gmail.com. Again, this will be uploaded on YouTube here, coming along with our past Batman versus Superman episode very, very quickly. Dex, what are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh. Hashtag don't do crime. Hashtag I do comedy.
Hashtag turn to turntables.
Hashtag
tables be turning because they're turntables that turn.
Hashtag turntables table.
All right. All right, guys. We're out.
We out.
Oh, my God. All right.